Uber has launched a new store pickup feature for holiday procrastinators who may be in need of a little extra help with their gift giving. And according to The Verge, not to be confused with The Verve, I'm going to say that every time we do a headline.
Oh, I'm aware. I think all the listeners are too.
Because The Verve is one of my favorite bands. According to The Verge, for a fee, customers can request an Uber courier pickup pick up a purchased item from a store to be delivered to a recipient of their choosing. Customers who elect to use the service must upload the item's receipt in order to authorize the courier's pickup. Items have to be less than $200 and weigh less than 30 pounds, and customers can track the item live in the Uber app. Uber says the feature is now live in unbelievably 1,500 cities and towns across America, including what appears to be many of the major cities. And when I think of holiday gift-giving procrastinators, you are probably the last person that honestly comes to mind. I feel like you get your stuff done really early. But I'm curious, what is your take on this from both the consumer and the retailer's perspective?
Oh, I love this. I think it's brilliant. Yes.
I disagree.
I think it's a personal assistant on demand during a very stressful time of year. And for what could be an endless supply of retailers. Like, what I love about this is it's not like, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Instacart. You're not limited to the retailers that are on that platform necessarily. If they're doing this in as many cities as they say they are, you could send somebody to just about anywhere for like bread, or things that you're getting ready for the holidays, like groceries, all the way down to gifting. Like this could be endless. There are so many applications here that I think could be so valuable. But in terms of just the gift giving, let's just stick there for a minute. I think it's a great way for Uber to test the viability of these services and to test the relationships with retailers. I know there's going to be some challenges, perhaps. I think that's probably what your concern is on the retailer side. But I think that this gets customers a taste in one service of what membership for some of these platforms could look like, especially the Uber platform, to become a member where you're constantly getting these services. It lets the retailers get a sense of what it's like to work with the retailers and Uber both ways. They both get a sense of like who the quality retailers are who are gonna be able to fulfill this without friction. And I think I don't know if you've done this a lot, but I'm a DoorDash Dash Pass member.
You are.
And recently, one of my girlfriends is a third grade teacher. She was about to go into conferences. She was going to have a terrible day. I could send her flowers and some tea for conferences. I sent it to her school.
Yeah.
The DoorDash driver brought it to her. Like, these things, they bring so much joy to people. Like, I just love, once you do that, like, I'm hooked. I will never give up DoorDash because I love doing these things. And all I have to do is click a button. I click one button and I'm bringing this joy. I'm having this emotional experience that I'm able to help my friend out, to make her day. And I think that that's something that this is going to allow for that is brilliant. Like, I would pay a lot of money for that. And I think that this is going to be just a catalyst to Uber doing this down the road and using it as an acquisition tool for customers to get on the platform.
Au contraire, mon frere, I have to say. I think your argument actually just spun it in my direction too, because here's what I would say. I'm curious too, before I get to my points. The way I'm reading this, Ann, are you reading this the same way, that basically you just take your QR code from any company where you've elected buy online, pick up in store, and you send it to the driver? And so the retailers don't even know this is going on, right? That's the other, they might not even be involved in this, right? I don't understand how you could roll it out so quickly otherwise.
Right.
But anyway,
I mean, I think it's just the equivalent of like when I order something for curbside pickup, you can place another pickup person as your pickup person. So it's not going to change anything necessarily on the retailer's hands. Yeah. Ideally.
Well, right. So there goes my point. So, okay. So here's what I don't like about it. From a consumer perspective, it seems like a huge adoption hurdle for me, like to get into the habit of doing that. And to the point that you made, why is it better than a Dash Pass for a quick delivery of a gift instead? Because essentially you're still asking for a delivery. So I don't understand what the extra step is in needing to do a pickup order from the retailer itself. And the retailers are going to get quicker and faster too. So I don't see the long-term viability of this as a user interface in the long run.
That's assuming that though, but I'm saying, Chris, like if you think about every single retailer, like in order to do that for DoorDash, the retailer has to be on the DoorDash platform. This is saying like
Yeah, fair
Lululemon.
point.
I could set up a pickup for Lululemon store pickup. I mean, all these stores are doing store pickup right now. So it doesn't limit you, which is what I like about it.
Fair point. But now let me get to the other point, which is the retailer's perspective. The retailers are going to hate this. They're going to hate it because there's going to be even if there's a small amount of volume going through this service in the beginning, you screw up one or two of these orders at the store level, like it's going to be a pain in the butt because now the retailer is not dealing with the customer. They're dealing with an Uber driver and having to coordinate that. And like who owns the fault in that process is just going to be a customer service nightmare whenever it happens. And so the retailers are not going to want to do this. And I would imagine actually in the future, if Uber tries to do this, this kind of feels like how Uber got started too. Like we're just going to do what we want to do and not tell everyone potentially. I have no idea if that's what's at play here, but the retailers are going to try to figure out ways to shut this down. Like, do you have to say who's picking it up? Do they continue to accept this type of thing? Do they allow this type of thing to happen? I think that is what you're going to see because it's going to be painful for the retailer. We just talked about in the last story how all these things are already causing pain for the retailer. So I just don't. I don't like it at all. I don't see this having legs, but we'll have to are we going to agree to disagree?
I think there's going to be some friction for sure. I actually think that it might even be on the customer's point. I might be able to side with you more on the customer's standpoint of like, now as a customer, which I didn't think about until you said this, I have to go in, order my thing from Lululemon, say that I'm going to have an Uber driver. Then like, I think there is going to be I think the most friction is going to be on the consumer side, right? Like up until this point, but am I willing to go through that extra hurdle right now in the middle of the holidays when I don't have the time to do it? So,
and relative to Dash Pass or relative to like just asking for like quick 1-day delivery from your own retailer for an extra fee. Like, I just don't see that. And like, yeah, 100%. Like if there's all those steps for the consumer, there's even more steps for the retailer on the customer service side.
I don't know if I agree with that as much, but we'll see. We'll agree to disagree. Let's see where it goes. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. I love it.